L.O.A.D with Web C. I'll be hanging out tonight with Carrie Michael Howell and Bit Cloudwize. Tonight we're just going to be watching some more episodes of Hellier. I'm just going to go ahead and see if we can finish this series up tonight. I think we're near the end of the series. I don't know. So let's see. If it goes longer than 3 hours, we'll have to do another episode. But I'm just trying to cash out so we can move on to something different. But I know this series is a long one, and I warned everybody when we started it. So, yeah, with that said, here is the WebC official QR code. That's been up for a little bit. Just pause it, scan the QR code. It'll bring you right to our YouTube channel where we produce our videos. This one is the Kip Ash Gundam QR code. You guys come on in, hang out with us over on Facebook at Kip Ash Gundam, and this is basically our HQ of operations where we talk to you guys and get feedback, and we help you guys customize your gunplay. That's pretty much the basis of what we do, but we also talk to you guys for other things too. But we try to keep it mecha related, try to stay on topic. If we get too far off topic, our admins do a pretty good job of letting you know that you're off topic. So, without further ado, we are going to start the show. We're on here, and it is episode 10 of season 2, Night of Pan. All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
What is something that all of the ritual magicians have been telling us when they watched Hellier? We're doing an initiation. We're doing some kind of a ritual.
Oh, shit. So you guys can hear this, right?
I tried to find one of the best books about initiations that I could find, something that was modern. What I landed on was the archetype of initiation, sacred space, ritual process, and personal transformation. These are all lectures and essays by Robert Moore. So one of the things that you have to lay out is this is not a paranormal book whatsoever, but reading this book has given me so many thoughts and ideas about paranormal phenomena. He has a lot of really interesting things to say about synchronicity. I wasn't looking at synchronicity when I got this book. The guy that wrote this book is a Jungian psychologist. So Jung is the guy who coined the term synchronicity. So synchronicity is something that popped up after he started looking at the idea. This guy says, in terms of a ritual initiation, synchronicity is a sign of being in the process of an initiation. Not necessarily anything other than a byproduct of being in the middle of an initiatory experience. That is what synchronicity is. If it's a call, if you really are part of a call, it's always scary. The call is always scary. If it's not scary, it's not really a call.
We'll have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones will be known to move. Trees to speak.
Said blood will have blood.
Dude, that feels like a fucking sign, man.
That's fucking weird. It's so crazy too, because we did not take Strawberry Road earlier. We came scouting yesterday. I don't even know why it used Strawberry Road. Yeah, we never went this way at all.
Woo-hoo.
Got my heart pumping a little bit.
That tree's got me now.
One of the things that I really wanted to do is some sort of a ritual, and it looks as if it would make sense that that ritual would happen inside of a cave. So the ritual itself is 16 steps. Each one of these steps is a way to kind of let the phenomena know that we're there to communicate and to learn as much as we possibly can from it. The second step is no iron, so no iron jewelry.
Yo!
I know that can be difficult with camera equipment. Yo! But as long as we're not wearing any iron, that would be really good.
They're going in unarmed.
Right. Because I always wear iron.
And iron is basically a repellent of the Fae, so it's something that we should kind of eliminate as much as possible, because they just won't come around if there's iron.
No, that's not always true, but I do understand the fear of the iron is because it burns and it kills, but...
Yeah.
The main goal of that ritual
one of
was
our
the
only weapons
invocation of
against
Pan.
the supernatural.
Right.
Whether you want to see it as the god Pan, or you want to see it as the energy or spirit of Pan, the spirit of
Well, no, I'm not saying
all,
that. I'm just saying.
This thing that has seemed to be hovering over a lot of what we've been doing. It was... As I understand it, it was meant as an official introduction.
Step 3 is when we are approaching the cave, we have to clap our hands as much as possible. It sounds kind of silly. I realize it sounds kind of silly, but Pan doesn't like to be snuck up on. So in older rituals, a lot of the time they would walk up to the caves just clapping their hands, just to let Pan know that they were approaching, so that he wasn't startled by them. So which I think is just fun, and I think it's kind of a cool way to bring in like some of the older traditions.
Also to not sneak up on him, but he was to be applauded for his good deeds and his
After a year of prepping, learning how to go into these caves, descend into these weird, strange realms, we finally had the day where we were going to descend and see for ourselves what this looks like.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying, they disarm themselves.
Yes.
And then they also initiate rituals to announce themselves.
Right.
I mean,
right, and now they're unarmed. If anything were to go wrong.
if anything, what I would have done is I would have maybe insisted that one person in the group have come armed,
Me, that's exactly
and then
what I
the
was thinking.
rest unarmed, as a way to show, hey, there's enough of us who aren't armed and one of us who is, and maybe we can have him stand a little further away, and then you can interact with us. But yeah, I'm definitely
location entailed.
Issue problematic, that type of deal.
The entrance of the cave didn't even look real. It looks like a movie set. It looks like this beautiful, massive cave that just sort of appears in the middle of nowhere, and you have to kind of trudge through a creek and through the woods to find it, and then suddenly there's this massive opening, and it just sort of beckons you inside because there's a perfect bend, so you just want to see what's around every corner.
We finally reached the point where we had the means of entering it properly. So finally having the chance to experience this firsthand was a great amount of closure for me. To be inside of this space. I felt a buildup of everything we had been working toward. I in particular was excited for anything. I was ready to see anything. I was ready to experience anything. And after hearing all these stories, whether that be these strange underground cultists or these creatures, I think I was prepared to see anything. I wanted to see something. Even though I think they would have provoked fear in the greater group, I think I wanted something overt to happen. I was almost expecting it.
Makes you unobjective if you're looking for something specific.
The interesting thing about Pan is he was never worshipped in any one specific place. They didn't have permanent altars erected for him. They didn't have temple spaces for him. Pan was worshipped in nature. He was worshipped out in the forest, and he was worshipped in caves specifically. So it was very important that we worship and make some kind of a connection with Pan in that space, because that's his space specifically. So if he was going to meet us anywhere, it was going to be in a cave.
Going in there to sort of conjure this ancient entity is an intimidating aspect, and in a way challenges my belief system a little bit. And so I had to take it in stride, and had to sort of sit back and think, I'm going to see, as an investigator, with this God-given curiosity, what's going on here. So I decided to sit back with my own personal protection and feeling of protection myself, to sit back and wait and see what happens.
Yeah, sit back and wait.
The next step is to cast a circle. So traditionally in magic, one of the things that many magic practitioners will do is something called a circle casting. And it's the idea that you're creating an energetic circle around your space. So basically, these white candles, we're going to use them as our outline so that we don't accidentally cross it. And you really just do it through visualization and through a lot of physically drawing a circle around the space. And the reason that you would do that is if you want to envision it like a 3D bubble that goes above us and below the ground, and it's basically an energy circle to contain energy. So when you're doing spell work or any kind of ritual work, the idea is you're raising energy. You're putting intention out into the universe, into the atmosphere around you. And if you don't have a circle, a lot of the time what can happen is that energy will just easily dissipate. So you're raising it and it's literally just dissipating, and you're not able to kind of contain it and put intention into it. So the first thing we'll do is we will cast a circle, an energy circle. Now that we have our 4 quarters and our directions, we're just going to use the rest of the candles just to create an outline for us. And again, that's just so that no one accidentally steps outside of the circle. This is exhausting. This is not a normal environment to do something like this. So it's like lose your energy so fast. So the other thought behind the circle is on top of the fact that you're creating a safe space where you can raise and put your intention out. It's also a protective space, because when you practice magic, there are certain types of energies and different types of spirits that might be what's going on over there. They'd be curious about it, so they can be drawn to that space. So the idea again is this circle is protective not only for you but for them. It just keeps your space as contained as possible while you're practicing magic, because in a lot of cases in the moment of practicing magic you could be very vulnerable because you're meditating or you're focusing on one thing specifically and you're not always aware of what's happening around you. So again, we're going to create that circular sacred space. So now that we have our circle outline, once we light them, you can visualize them like a perimeter, basically. The fourth step is we're going to dedicate the cave for that time period of night to Pan. We're going to create an altar space for Pan. This whole rock's going to be the altar space. So I just want to know which direction to put our four quarters. And for that we're going to need a handful of different things, and I have all of them: oak, grains, seashells, wine, honey, grapes, obsidian, carnelian, cakes, those types of things. And they're all going to go on some sort of an altar space that'll be in the center of the ritual space. So the next step is we're going to, every tool that we use for the ritual, we're going to dress with cinnamon and vervator oil. And those are two oils that have often been associated with the Green Man, with Pan. And that's going to basically turn everything that we use in the ritual space into ritual tools. So anything that we bring in with us, just a little dab of those oils, basically anoints it so that it deserves to be in ritual space.
We anoint camera?
Yeah, if we can, just everything that we bring in with us, just a little drop of it, even just a tiny little bit, and it's basically showing that we are utilizing these tools for ritual purposes. We're going to burn mugwort. Mugwort is herb that is used to open the third eye, so it's just going to help like raise our vibration and help us kind of align with this type of energy. And I'm going to basically just walk the perimeter, and as I do that, I'm just going to be visualizing a bubble above us and a bubble below us. And it's basically just going to kind of be.
So, it's kind of insane. Like, to not like, okay, so for 12, 13 episodes now, you know, they've been super afraid to interact. Like, they have not done any of this before. Like, so, like, this is definitely a step up from what they've been doing. Now they're actually interacting and participating.
Containing us.
And that's a big difference
So
there.
it's just a really simple little chant that I'm going to do as I go. That's just sort of a centering chant. It's just meant to kind of draw in the elements and to attune us with the elements.
It's really powerful, but you have to couple it with inspired action.
Earth is my body.
That's where currents and physical.
Air is my breath. Fire is my spirit. Water is my blood. Earth is my body.
So she's doing I believe it's a very traditional
Fire
Wiccan.
is my spirit. Water is my blood.
Which is interesting because it's not Celtic. So this is what I think is weird.
I think one of the best ways to think about this too is, and I was talking about this outside, think of Pan as one of the altar rituals. We're trying.
Yeah, right. She's basically calling on the four corners. And,
But
and that doesn't necessarily calling on the four corners isn't always you don't want to conflict calling on one nature spirit for another, because that could anger a spirit. Anyways, I'm just pointing out that they're mixing magic now. So
To have a conversation with one of the ultra terrestrials. He's just their face.
Air is my breath.
what's that?
I'm just thinking in my mind, is it really? Are we really mixing magic? But because each individual has their own belief system in which their magic it works. Some of us don't have a belief system at all, and that's where people it's like belonging to the world or involving yourself. Belonging to the world is like an insurance policy. It's just there. But when you're involved, now you're starting to create magic. But what kind of magic are you working with? They're somewhat interchangeable as long as we can stop seeing the physical idea of what it is and only see the spiritual being practicing a spiritual ritual that draws on the powers that are somewhat related to each of their own.
Mm-hmm. Right, but I'm just pointing out. That's all I was doing is an observation. You know,
Yeah.
I know the difference between Celtic Druidism and Wiccan paganism and stuff like that. There are differences, and those magics can be you can mix them, but then also, you know, like when you're trying to interact with those spirits, not just use the magic, there's a difference there. And so when they started it off as a druidistic ritual by walking into the cave announcing themselves, and then they're switching right away. Like they're going, okay, we recognize who you are, but now you're going to listen to what we have to say. Okay, you don't get that. We're going to take that power and we're going to make it bend to our will. It's kind of what, you know, but not negatively. Anyways, we'll go back to the show.
Crowley communed with Pan before he tried to talk to Aiwass or any of the higher entities. So he's just maybe the boss. So we're just talking to him. We're talking to upper management to try and see if we can have a conversation with him and maybe whoever else might pop in. And one of the traits of Pan in all of the literature you read is that when he's called, he typically shows up.
Air is my breath. Fire is my spirit. Water is my blood. Okay, done. So that's our circle cast. The next step is called calling the quarters, and it's basically inviting the 4 elements and the 4 directions to join us in magic and in our whatever it is that we're doing. So traditionally, it's an invitation to the elements and the elemental spirits to join our magic. Okay. What was that?
I was hearing rumbling earlier while you were doing that.
Okay. What is going on?
It's working.
What was that? The next step is something that is often referred to as calling the quarters or the corners, just depends on who you're talking to. And it's the idea that we're going to dedicate or 4 sections of our circle to each one of the elements. On the altar, we have 4 directions. Each one of the bowls represents each one of the 4 elements. So in earth, we have salt. In air, we have incense. In fire, we have a candle. And in the direction of water, we have water from the little pond underneath. So it's basically each one of them is meant to represent each one of the elements. And it basically gives them a place in our space to reside. So you're giving them like a home to reside in the space. There's a set chant that basically I'll do at that point to invite those specific elements to our circle. I call upon the element of earth to join us in our magic circle, to bless our circle. I call upon the element to bless our magical working. We call upon the element of fire to ignite our magic. I call upon the element of water to bring emotion to our space. So the 11th step will be a welcoming to Pan to join us, or an invocation, and we can all do it together. I can do it. It's completely up to everybody and how we feel in the moment. What I was thinking is for the invocation, I was thinking about it a lot, actually over the past couple of days, and I think I kind of want Greg to do it. I want him to lead us in it. Because I feel like I spent the past couple of days like reaching out to Pan, and I didn't really feel him connecting much with me. And I don't know if that's not because I wasn't the person to bring that to this space. So I thought it would be nice if you led us in the invocation or in the invitation, if you're comfortable with it. If you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to do it. I don't mean to put you on the spot. I've been thinking about it, and I feel like if he's going to answer to any one of us, it's probably going to be you, since you were the one who sort of brought him to us. As long as you're comfortable with it. You don't have to do it.
I'll do it. Never done an invocation before. I practice magic here and there, but it's probably what people would consider chaos magic. It's very eclectic. It's things from here and there that I feel comfortable doing. I've never performed ritual magic. I've never done an invocation. I'm not a very religious person anymore. I was raised very religious, but as anyone who's raised very religious, they know that something like that was a big deal. And I had to think about it. She said, listen, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. I just think that you're the one who was doing all of this research on Pan. You are the one that feels this connection so strongly. I think it makes sense that you do the invocation. So I did.
Before I say it, I thought about it for a long time. I wanted it to be something that made sense for us, made sense for our case, but also made sense for Pan sort of being a bit of a forgotten god in a lot of ways. So it's, I honor thee and thy ancient tomb by the blessed altar, forgotten and lone. I honor thee and thy ancient tomb by the blessed altar, forgotten and lone.
Hold on. I honor thee and thy blessed tomb at the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. I honor thee and thy blessed tomb at the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. I honor thee and thy ancient tomb by the blessed altar, forgotten and lone. We honor thee and thy blessed tomb at the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. Blessed be Pan, Pan, we invoke thee. We honor thee and thy blessed tomb by the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. We honor thee and thy blessed tomb at the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. Blessed be Pan,
Eopan! 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 We invoke thee! We invoke thee! We honor thee in thy blessed tomb at the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. We honor thee in thy blessed tomb at the ancient altar, forgotten and lone. Blessed be Pan. Eopan! Eopan! We invoke thee!
I feel like the temperature is decreasing. It just felt like a weird, intense energy just creep in real fast. It wasn't exciting at all. It just went.
I feel really chill that direction.
Yeah. Is that where the cold air came from?
Yeah, now I feel really cold. A lot colder than it's been.
It's like.
Just feeling like an energy shift from this direction.
Yeah. I feel like it's all coming from over there. It came in so fast, and the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
That's the entryway to the outside. That's further.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just stirred up.
It was very weird. I don't know. I've thought about it a lot since we did it. I don't know how to. It was really emotional for me to do that. It was. I don't know. It seems silly to say, but I felt it happen. Whatever it was, I felt it happen, and it was there, and I felt it, and I was getting really emotional about it. I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. It was really impactful. I could feel. I don't know. I was shaking. I was literally shaking. It was just really weird. There was a strange effect that began to occur inside of that cave, and it was experienced by me and Connor, and I believe Carl, all of us collectively inside of this bubble. The temperature started to greatly decrease. I started to get chills as this invocation started kicking in, and it felt like something was passing through.
You guys have the people. Do you think we should play the tones now?
Yes, that's what we should do. Yes.
Play your fucking magic.
Do that first.
Play your roll, little.
What's that?
Like you gotta play your role, little homie. You got the ether going, and that's why you're feeling that energy, that cold. Because you open it, tap in. You gotta play your role. Play your position.
Yeah.
Hand is definitely there.
Oh my god, I can't believe we're about to do this.
I mean, it's interesting that we actually are being told to make these tones, and now we are going into a cave. And here's an entire academic breakdown of why those noises are important. So basically, what this paper by Nectarios Peter Youtsos is saying is that we need to go into these caves and we need to clap, we need to make noise, we need to drink, we need to actually make this cave into a giant instrument for the ritual. That's exactly how these people used to use it. So we need to play the tones, probably as panpipes, and see what happens.
We think what you heard was a C, an A, and an F.
F is the heart chakra.
Bing, bing, bing.
Bing, bing, bing. I enjoy this.
Yeah, again.
Bing, 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 bing.
You got a handle on it. Play those sounds.
When I saw Dana in person next, I sat down with her with a little piano on a computer and gave her my idea. I thought it was going to be C, A, F.
No, it was the first one, it wasn't the second.
And so I was playing those notes, played different versions of them up and down the keys until she found ones that matched what she heard over the box.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Sounds like it.
So what was it? F note? F note is the passion is heart. It's 182.2 hertz. And what was the other one? What note? D note?
CAF?
Yes.
Okay, C note's for the root for it's 128 hertz. And then F was the heart. And what B is the crown chakra for connection. I mean, if you were going to break it down in more science and look at it, be like, what is it specifically that those tones do? And that's what they do melodically to our brain.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Good. Right? The harmony can oh, it makes you smile. That went a little bit of E, and it would make the confidence over to you know what I mean?
The tones, when I heard them in the cave, they made me really emotional. I wasn't expecting to feel that way. It actually surprised me. And it felt almost sad, but in the moment, I realized that it felt familiar to me, as if the tones, the energy of the tones felt like this entire experience has felt. It's sort of beautiful and very frustrating and embodies a lot of different complexities.
You hear that?
The tones were weird. They made me sick. The tones made me feel sick, and I don't think I was the only one that felt that way. They were strange and grating, almost.
Got internal struggle.
I hated the tones. They made me so anxious, so much anxiety. Like I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I don't know why. It's just all I wanted was for them to be off, for it to be over.
Is anybody there?
I'm kind of dizzy.
Yeah, I'm here.
I feel really.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
It's like
I heard the story.
vibrating.
What the hell's going on?
He's channeling through the guy.
I feel kind of wobbly.
Yeah, you feel a little nauseous.
A little sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
You feel maybe a little bit nauseous, a little bit uneasy, and a lot of people were just saying that they wanted the tones to be turned off. So after it ran through the cycle for about half an hour, we let the tones kind of fade away.
Ooh, it makes me feel nauseous.
I think I enjoyed it. I like them. Make me feel good.
I know. So once we finished with that, I have a section here that's basically breaking bread. So we're going to drink wine, we're going to eat, we're going to break bread with Pan, basically, and make merry with Pan, because he loves that kind of stuff. So in that moment, it's a really wonderful way too, because one of the ways to kind of begin to wind down your magic is to actually eat food, because eating food is incredibly grounding. So ingesting food, ingesting wine will begin to ground you back down into the waking reality. And it's a really nice way to do that. And it's also another huge sign of respect, and it's just a lovely way to kind of commune with those types of energies. After the invocation, we played the tones, and we tried to engage with whatever was there as much as we could. And I remember getting really frustrated and feeling almost really pissed off, because I remember thinking, like, we're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing. How come nothing's really happening? Why isn't anything happening?
I'm just frustrated.
I don't know.
Just a general feeling of frustration.
And the longer we were in that space, the more I wanted to crawl out of my skin.
I don't know, there's just something that feels off. I get the frustration that's being felt. I just feel like maybe something's off.
I wanted to crawl out of my skin, and I had this realization in my own mind. When we talk about initiation, when we talk about getting through things and pushing through and sticking to the path, I had this thought that maybe that frustration was a part of this.
Is this part of it? Like, is this what we have to do before we leave? Is like find some way to turn this around? How do we get in a better headspace? Getting through that.
You gotta get through it.
Get through this feeling.
Yeah.
Get
Or
through
if we
this
don't get through it,
feeling.
we're gonna just be frustrated always.
And you get stuck.
Yeah.
I don't want to get stuck like this.
No.
Bingo. We have a choice. We're all here. That's amazing, isn't it? We've gone this far. Look at this place. Let's actually celebrate something. This is still important.
Celebrate activity.
Celebrate activity. Let's get out of this headspace and be happy. This is an amazing thing. Connor?
Come on.
Gotta laugh. Let's go deeper in the cave. Yeah.
You're right, Tyler.
We have the choice. I feel fine.
So after we do that, I will thank and farewell the quarters. So we'll release the 4 quarters that we've invited to the circle.
Let's say thank you to all of the creatures, all of the living creatures, the toads and the spiders and everything else that's here with us. Say thank you to the spirits who are here with us, the watchtowers who are here with us, the elements that were here with us, the archetypes that were here with us, the energies that were here with us, the gods that were here with us, and say thank you and farewell, and merry meet, and merry part, and merry meet again.
Cancel cost ya. Delivery won't. Walmart Plus.
And then we'll ground the circle. So we basically will visualize the circle kind of dissipating, going back down into the earth. And then at the very end, when we're done with everything, I think we can take a lot of the things that we're going to bring with us that we've used in that ritual space and create what would essentially be like a permanent altar for Pan in that cave, and just let it be there. Obviously it won't be upkept, but that's fine, because I think it's the intention that we're saying this space was dedicated to you for a night, and we're going to leave this here as a memory of that dedication. So if you ever want to come back again, that energy will still be there.
He talks about how successful transitions require ego, death, and rebirth. And he literally basically says, he lays out that heroism is bullshit. Those things don't lead.
All right. So That was one of the only things they did right through the whole situation was the closing. The only thing they did right is they closed out properly.
That is true. If you're gonna summon a Pan like God like Pan, you're gonna have to do exactly everything right. Otherwise, it's just bull.
Well, you're opening yourself up to a lot of spirits when you start invoking the powers of nature. Even if you're invoking them for protection, you're allowing in a lot of power at one time.
And it's a lot of vibrational energy we let in, like exactly.
Yeah.
We don't even know what we're really doing, to be honest about it.
Yeah. But, so all I can say is that I feel like the only thing they did was they closed out the ritual properly so that they wouldn't have any harm befall them. And that's all I can say about it. Or we can go back to one because there's still more of the episode.
To actual rebirth. Optimal frustration is what you need for a good liminal experience, for a good ritual. Optimal frustration.
Optimal frustration.
It's constant start and stop, constant dead end. I think now I realize that this stuff is leading to something bigger and bigger than all of us, and it's something worth doing, but at the time, it sometimes really didn't feel like it. Liminal states have what he calls communitas. It's a social experience that we only get in liminal states. I feel like our experience with Hellier, a lot of us didn't really know each other very well. But going through that experience and going through what we're doing now, I think we have that sense of communitas. He gives the New York blackouts as an example of that. Where everything goes out, everybody's sharing that experience, and they all kind of go, we're in this together. It's an experience that nobody else will be able to experience along with us. It's something that bonds a group together. We're literally going through that type of thing right now. That's fascinating to me. We're hitting all of the steps of a ritual initiation. I slowly get the picture that sometimes paranormal experiences are forced initiatory experiences. When things start happening around people that are in a chronic liminal state, they experience poltergeist, they experience all kinds of weird stuff. It's trying to force an initiatory experience, and maybe that's part of Hellier. Maybe there's some sort of a forced initiation that's happening. For what purpose? For what illumination? I don't really know. I am now more sure than I was ever before that we are doing some sort of initiation. Who our steward is? That's the interesting part. Don't know.
As Greg said, it felt like something happened. But it seems to me like that something was part of a larger process. And maybe that's why we haven't seen results yet, is because we're still in the middle of the ritual. It might be bigger than us. Bigger than just that cave that night. It might be this project itself. The results of the ritual might not even happen to us. I keep thinking about this idea that they might happen to the audience at home in watching this as part of the ritual. And the implications to that idea of being part of a bigger ritual were only furthered when we went to Detroit to hear from Connor about a breakthrough that he made.
It always irked me and sat in the back of my mind that we weren't using these numbers correctly. And so, in order to try to find the answer to the numbers that Terry was telling us to use, I decided to play with them in different contexts. And my girlfriend stepped in, and we started to play with the numbers mathematically one night. And as we're doing that, we start to notice a pattern over and over again with different applications mathematically to this series of numbers. I didn't know what this pattern meant, and I didn't have context for it. So, for context, I reached out for some help from an old friend.
I understand it's a strange car ride to come up here from Cincinnati to Detroit to meet with Mr. John Tenney. And that is because we have some information that we think is very relevant and pertinent to the case. We think that we have cracked the numbers.
I thought we had gotten the symbolic message from the numbers, which was maybe there was something symbolic about Brown Mountain. Here's this balloon that says you're going in the right direction. Maybe do the abduction experiment again. That's where I was with them. I was fine. I was happy with that. I've learned to be happy with that. So to find out that there was another meaning to the numbers was a shock. Yeah, it was a shock, and it's a whole other can of worms.
So I mean, you're fairly convinced at this point that they're not GPS coordinates.
They're not GPS coordinates. They're not coordinates, no.
I don't think so.
It is very odd that they're that close to Brown Mountain coordinate-wise.
Right.
That's potentially a very major synchronicity. If they're not coordinates, then that's bizarre.
Yeah.
Itself,
I mean, it's the only reason we thought they were coordinates.
Right.
Because it just seemed the obvious solution.
Let's look at that second contact. The ink and black are isolated still and third order MIA. Just that sentence alone appears very directly, as Carl figured out, to be a reference to Indrid Cold still being here on Earth. But what does that also tell us? It tells us that he was still in contact with Indrid Cold in 2012, which is not that long ago. We know that he met him way back when, but he's still here, he says. Of course, we've learned that potentially Indrid Cold might have had something happen. That all said, let's look at that next sentence. Something that we always thought, and potentially still is, but we always have thought of it as like a metaphor. Bear in mind, for every door closed, a window must be opened. The door is closed, the window is open. When you plug that sentence in to the cipher, the secret cipher of the Euphonauts that he uses in the previous sentence, that adds up to the value of 1025.
That's a whole sentence.
That's a whole sentence.
Okay.
So you plug that entire bizarre sort of sentence there. Once you get that high in the cipher, there's only a few sentences that it actually lines up with in the Book of the Law. And the sentence that it lines up with is, the man and the name of thy house is 418, the end of the hiding.
It's unbelievable that all the grocery prices are so low. Aloha savings.
It's not a sale. It's an Aldi thing.
So, that may be a sort of hidden cipher value that was sitting right in there all along. But the point is we have to sort of realize, oh wait, maybe there's something else there. Maybe there's something more interesting.
And what was the Book of the Law sentence again?
The man and the name of thy house is 418, the end of the hiding. Feels like an address.
Yeah, for sure.
In addition, I am 49 place. 418, 1 plus 8 is 9. There's another one there too. So I don't know what to do with that. But I'm just pointing out that that's an interesting thing to note. That's worth noting. Now here comes the big bomb at the end. Use the numbers. Okay? That sentence has haunted all of us for years now.
When I got all of this a week and a half ago, like I said, I tried to look at it with fresh eyes. So how could, if I just gave you a number and you didn't know anything about the Kabbalah, ritual magic, like you're a ghost hunter. I'm going to give you something simple. And when I looked at it simply, thinking that way, that's when it all seemed to come together.
So let's look at the numbers themselves. The numbers are 3, 6, 0, 0, 2, 5, 0, 5, 8, 1, 9, 0, 6, 8, 4, 0. Okay. It's a long set. We notice immediately that there's a lot of zeros. But if we don't think that they're coordinates and we don't think that it's anything else that's very simple, the next thing to do is to apply math.
And do the simplest, easy number math that you can for a 30-year-old ghost hunter to figure out. Do a magic square. Just lay them out in a magic square. And then start adding and subtracting.
So all of this stuff is very similar to numerology, where you're essentially converting letters to numbers and then adding them up until you have a single digit between 1 and 9. 3, 6, 0, 0. 3 plus 6 equals 9, so there's a 9. 2 plus 5 plus 0 plus 5 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 0 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 6 plus 8 plus 4 plus 0. 1 plus 8 is 9. So that's that value there. Let's take the second value and then let's add all of these up. 9, 18, 27, 30. So the single digit here would be 3 plus 0 equals 3. You do the same thing going down. And you end up with the values 19, 20, 13, 5. 10 plus 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16, plus 5 is 21. 2 plus 1 equals 3 as well. So that's interesting. But who knows? Maybe that's just the way that it happens. Well, shoot. Let's take the entire string of numbers and add them all up. 3, 6, 0, 0, 2, 5, 0, 5, 8, 1, 9, 0, 6, 8, 4, 0 equals 57. 5 plus 7.
12 equals 3.
1 plus 2.
1 plus 2
is 3.
Is 3. Let's look at just half the number. 3 plus 6 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 plus 0 plus 5 equals 21. 2 plus 1 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 0 plus 6 plus 8 plus 4 plus 0, which is the second half of the sequence, is 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. They always come out to 9s or 3s. Halves, quarters, the entire thing. There's a 9. 1 plus 2 is 3. There's a 3. 1 plus 8 is 9. There's a 9. Okay.
Hold up. All right.
That was shit right there, people.
All right, so in one of the previous episodes we watched, they went and spoke with this man named Alan Greenfield. Do you remember the number he spoke about?
No.
Not right off the top of my head.
Greenfield said something about the number 93 or 9 and 3.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
Let's take all of the prime numbers.
They're going through the numbers
and
now.
Added up all the primes of
Those
each
numbers
of these
are all adding up
individual.
to 93.
They add up to 193. Also interesting. There's another 93. So, one of the first things that I wanted to do is make sure that this isn't just a statistical something that happens every now and then with a string of numbers. So we ran it through, and my sister helped me out with this, Micheal. We did 50 different random number sequences, and only one of them came out to 9s and 4s. About a 2% chance that this could potentially be relevant. So what I did is I called Tenny and I said, hey, like Chelsea and I were sitting there, we figured this out. I don't know why, but I'm seeing a lot of 9s and a lot of 3s. That's something that I also told Alan Greenfield. And what's the first thing that he said? 93 in the cipher equals Hellier.
93 shows up repeatedly and with gusto.
You break down the numbers. No matter what quadrant you split the numbers into, they all become either 3 or 9.
93.
Which is
Hellier.
interesting.
You are adding to the credential.
So, what we're left with is a whole lot of 9s and 3s and no context with what to do with that. So, at this point, we're sitting there with a lot of 93s and no context. Well, what did Greenfield say? That 93 is a number that's extremely relevant to people who are into Thelma, right? And he joked about it, and we kind of joke about it sometimes too. It's like, what a weird thing. It's sort of their slogan, like summed up in a number, right?
I mean, do you know that 93 is a significant number to Thelemites, which I'm not anymore, but...
Back then I wouldn't have, absolutely not.
Well, there's a jargon in Thelemic circles. Thelemites will greet each other with 93, 93, love and will.
Crowley apparently would actually sign his letters 93 sometimes. I mean, it's a very relevant number to people who are into this kind of stuff. 93 equals Hellier. If you run it through the cipher, it also comes out to the phrase is a key also, which is interesting. Then what happened is we're staring at the numbers, and you can't ignore another sequence. This big old 31 here. 31 times 3 is 93. So there's another 3, there's another 93. 31 times 3 is 93 is also something people who are into Thelma really sort of take in, because 31 is a reference to Liber 31, which was written by Aleister Crowley's apprentice to like Fray Todd, and it's a whole other jumbled mess of these writings, right? When you look at Liber 31, which was written by Todd, just take this book, look at Liber 31, which was as delivered by a being called
93, 418.
So there's both of those numbers again. The man and the name of thy house is 418.
Weird. What are the odds of that?
Exactly.
Both of them.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
It has to be intentional.
It certainly feels intentional.
And this is something, again, about looking at something simple. Break away and just say, okay, we've got these numbers, what do we do with them? Let's say you did, or you did, one of you did run a simple number square, right? And you realized that 31 was important to start. Right? Sometimes 93, sometimes 39. But it's definitely giving you 3s and 9s, right? If 31 is the book. It's the third chapter. Ninth verse, right? So you look at the third chapter and the ninth verse. The ninth verse is lurk, withdraw, upon them. This is the law of the Bible.
Alrighty then.
Is that a phrase that's familiar to Gray? Is that a phrase that's familiar to you at all? It's okay if it's not. It kind of irked my interest.
It feels familiar.
The Law of the Battle of Conquest is also a chapter in Secret Cipher, the book itself, which was attributed to Rist's writing, which is literally about his perception. This is unbelievable. So
he's not talking about the interview, he's talking about the chapters before the interview.
Before it.
Right at the top of the interview, in front of our faces the whole time. 93 directs you not only to these writings of Thelma and the occult and stuff that Terry was interested into, but literally is a reference to the Law of the Battle of Conquest is the work of our friend and comrade in arms who goes by the name Terry R. Rist.
Fuck out of here. This whole fucking time.
It was right on
right there.
In the chapter Terry references a particular passage in another book by Crowley. There's a couple of paragraphs about the Book of Lies, which contains 93 chapters. And these last 2 chapters are about Terry going out and doing a ritual. And the ritual is called the Star Sapphire. Blue star.
Well, I mean, what's the context defining it? Lost path. It's a star? Blue star, mountain green.
Next week. Yeah, well, he was very into that. He said it himself. It's a blue star.
So the blue star is essentially the content of the chapter that Terry was potentially trying to get you to read the whole time.
And we're literally finding blue stars on block paths in the forest. Oh my God.
Terry's not the first person to come up with 93. He's basing it on 100-year-old occultists. And occultists before them were coming up with the same numbers. And it's not that they were all figuring it out. It was that something older than all of them is revealing itself to them and saying, yes, you're on the right path. And they recognize it's relevant, and now it's doing it to all of you. It's that thing, it's the phenomena saying yes.
So even though it seems like the numbers are cracked, what I think is vitally important to note is that at the end of the day, I went to that area of Brown Mountain, or the outskirts of it, believing those were coordinate points. And something still happened. So what does that mean, thinking that the phenomena is taking notice? Where maybe it doesn't matter exactly what threads we're following, but we're taking the initiative to follow the path and to put in that effort. And being shown that what we are doing is important.
So the question then is, what's the next step?
There's a potential that Terry wanted us to do that. So you read the ritual, and what I did is I called Dana, and she's been researching the ritual itself. The ritual, as it's read, I don't understand any of it. I don't understand this. I'm not sure if you. It's something that's pretty bizarre and in depth.
I don't have a very strong background in ceremonial magic, and I don't practice Thelema, and I don't really know a lot about it. And so it's a bit scary when you have this very distinct ritual sitting in front of you that it looks as if you're supposed to be doing, and you have the understanding at least to know that it would take months, if not years, to work up to even being able to attempt a ritual like that. And to do it out of order would be incredibly dangerous to every single one of us. So it wouldn't be something that we would want to just sort of dive headfirst into.
When you look at the ritual, Dana noticed something interesting, which was the phrase Nox, which shows up a lot. What did you find?
Nox.
N-O-X.
So from again, this isn't my wheelhouse. It's not the kind of magic that I practice, so I don't understand a lot of it. But from the very basic amount of research that I did, Nox or NOx is usually referred to as the Night of Pan.
What?
It's a mystical state that is meant to represent ego death. It's literally referred to as the Night of Pan. It's a process within the ritual. It's something that you have to master before you even attempt this ritual, because there are elements to the Star Sapphire. It's not a beginner's ritual. You have to have learned how to do a lot of the things that are contained within it. And the NOx or Nox is one of those signals.
No, I honestly, I do believe. I don't think that when you talk about like Sapphire Star ritual and stuff, again, I think these are nods, that these are the directions that you're going in are correct. But I don't think it wants old magic. I think it wants something new.
So that said, what do you think? What do you think we're supposed to do with this?
I personally think that you're supposed to do a ritual, but I don't think that ritual exists right now.
So the one thing, and again, I'm trying to understand this ritual as much as I possibly can. But if there was one thing that I could kind of take away with, again, knowing about this for like 24 hours, is that the Star Sapphire, it's an invoking ritual. So it's meant to invoke something, to bring about something.
Who are we supposed to invoke? And what are we supposed to invoke?
Pan.
The only Greek god is dead.
Asleep for a long time.
Yeah. Dead.
Right.
I mean, it's at the point where is that a synchronicity, or is that just a slap in the face? It's beyond hinting at this point. Obvious. It's an absolute fact that this is connected. I don't know. There's no way to even deny it. We can try and deny it at this point, but to do that would just be stupid. We would just be being ignorant on purpose. All of these things, everything that we've been doing now for 2 years, is on purpose. Even the dead ends are all on purpose. It's all being guided.
Suddenly these numbers, this research is pointing to something much more than strange creatures in caves in Kentucky.
If Hellier was a symptom, I think Somerset is an aspect of that symptom. But I think there's more and layers going on there. And I think those layers have had time to lead into each other.
I think there are still things in Somerset that we could do. The question is, do we want to do them? And I don't know the answer to that right now. I'm too close to it right now. I'm going to have to think about it for a while, and I think we all are. I think that question will be answered differently by each and every one of us. I'm sure that some of us will say, nope, I'm done. I feel good. I'm done with Somerset. I don't know if I can answer that one yet.
I know that whatever's happening in Somerset is not going to stop happening anytime soon. And it's probably just going to continue growing, and the stories will continue to spread, and people will continue to have experiences, and hopefully that little piece of our ego death that happened in that cave and working with Pan was enough to create some ripple of healing in that space. I don't think we're done in any of the places we've gone. I think we'll go back to every single one of them for some reason. I think there are places we have yet to go, and there are places that we've been. And at one point in time, throughout this journey, we're going to have to come all the way back again. And I don't think that we're done with any of them.
We have a whole box of tools now. Carl has the lines, we have power names, we have rituals, we have numbers, we have a whole checklist of things. We have maps, we have geomagnetic anomalies, we have cave systems, we have the tones. We've been given all of these things to use. I can look at those maps and I can look at a geomagnetic anomaly. I can look at a name.
Can you guys still hear that?
I can look at a cave system.
Yeah.
I can look at how it works in the cipher. What does this name come out to in the cipher? If that name comes out to a specific number, I'm fairly confident I could drive to that town and find something weird right away. That's what we've been given. We did not have that 2 years ago. And I think that's part of the reason we've been doing Pointless.
I just hope it provokes wonder. I hope if anything, it gives people the strength to not stop asking questions. Because I don't think enough people do. And I think the people this resonates with are the people that ask questions. How can you make progress if you don't?
So everything is pointing us to this phenomena having a larger face that Greg thinks he might be seeing a little bit through his research. But the phenomena itself, I mean, the goblins, cold, other cave creatures, things like that, the town of Hellier and everything that happened there, we quickly start to realize was just a symptom of something larger, which Terry was telling us from the very beginning. The next phase is following through and finding a window that's open, if not potentially opening a window ourselves.
It's never a problem till you're the one they want to find. Double check your privilege or it's your profile on a pike. They're driving me insane. These monsters inside my brain. So scream your lungs out and look for a way out from a mouth stopping for something to hate. Be careful what you say. Be careful not to wake the outrage of a beast with a million heads. Yeah, these American monsters will eat you whole. Take your life from your control. I won't be satisfied till the trolls are fed. Yeah, you better watch what you say.
All right. So I discovered something.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Whose name was Levi. And he immediately made an impression on us because he had us sign a tin can. And then he started talking about Keel. And he really likes Keel's work. And he said, there's a pamphlet Keel wrote and sold at UFO conferences in the 90s called Flying Saucer Subculture. And I think you guys would really be interested to see the cover. So eventually I reached out to Doug Skinner, who runs johnkeel.com, because Doug did the art that's on the cover of this. And he was very nice, and he said, I will send you a copy. The Flying Saucer Subculture by John Keel. And the cover depicts a party with all these different famous aliens. There's a guy doing hypnosis. There's a Venusian. There's a Darrow. But what's crazy is, what's that and what is he holding?
It's a goblin holding a tin can.
That is a Kentucky goblin holding not just a tin can, one of the tin can robots that Keel wrote about, one of the tin can chimeras. This came out in 1994. But of all the people, of all the entities to be holding a tin can,
It happened to be the goblin.
it had to be a Kentucky goblin.
That's insane.
Is that even a synchronicity?
I don't even know what that is.
What is it? What do you call that?
Yeah, that's all, folks.
Wow.
Thank you, Planet Weird. All right. So, unfortunately, this episode got destroyed. I'm sorry, everybody out there in watching land. I'm sorry everybody had to listen to a video full of echoes. I didn't realize it was echoing. or I would have like muted my mic or whatever.
Oh, I tried to ask you earlier. I thought maybe you heard me, and you didn't really acknowledge the question. I was like, maybe it's just me.
No, I didn't know. Like, so anyways, it'll be fine. I figured it out. We can all hear it. All right. So I'm still trying to figure out how these audios hook up and stuff, because it's all weird when it's through these web pages and stuff. So I'm just trying to figure out which ones are working properly and stuff still. So it's a good thing. I found that out. I mean, I don't care. People can go and watch this episode without us, and then you can just come back and leave a comment like you watched it, so you caught up or whatever. I don't know.
That's awesome.
I'm a horrible person now, but there is supposed to be more to this. This isn't supposed to be over. I don't know. That might have been it, though. So for now, I guess that's it. So that wraps it up.
Yeah.
I thought there was a whole nother season. All right. Well then, we can just get out of there, and we can go for a second talk. All right. So the whole takeaway from the story is we still don't know who Terry Wrist was. We still don't know if they ever made it to the right locations. But what's funny is those blue star things that popped up at the end. Like, they were big hints in the beginning, but what was weird is through the rest of everything, they never had another strange encounter with law enforcement. They only had the one. And that's what like kind of rubbed me a little bit weird about this story and everything. So these guys are ghost hunters.
That is kind of weird.
So, but they had that really weird interaction with the police in the beginning, and then it never happened again. So they were like, we had to be super quiet about it, super secretive, and blah, blah, blah. So there's that. No, but I'm happy to be done with this series. We can call it a night since we're done with this series, and then we'll pick it up on Sunday. I do have a video, I think, selected for Sunday. Hold on. I think I put it in my history. I don't think it's going to be a long video. We're going to start, let's end off the show with this. And then we'll dig into it and we'll see what we can find for information, and we'll all talk about it on the next show.
Alrighty then. I can get behind that.
Hold on.
Who then shot it down. Military officials, along with the group Anonymous, have just announced that a mysterious object has been taken down in Rostov. Local news agencies have described the object as being unidentified and said that it was detected by military officials who then shot it down. Vasily Gubev, the governor of Rostov, said the following: "A small object in the shape of a boar has been discovered flying in the wind at an altitude of around 1.5 miles. The decision was then taken to liquidate it. I urge everyone to remain calm, to ensure security all forces and means are involved. The sky is covered with anti-aircraft defenses." End quote. Due to the wording that was used, this story instantly gained traction on social media, where users questioned whether they had taken down something that wasn't a conventional aircraft. One of the first places to report on the mysterious encounter was a local news outlet, which said that an unidentified aircraft on the shore had been liquidated, and that military officials were quick to arrive on the scene in order to observe the downed aircraft. Telegram channels that night described how air defense systems in Rostov had been operating, with one channel sharing actual footage of the event, and the moments that the mysterious object was taken out. Someone in the background of the footage can be heard saying the following: "Look, another one has gone. Something over there just went down. Even the houses are shaking." End quote. Online users have questioned the nature of this object, saying that those in the region describe the object as being circular in shape, and notes that this report comes just a few months after scientists came forward and said that strange objects were detected above Kiev. At the time, a few photographs were released, but due to how fast the objects in question were travelling, it's been difficult to capture a clear image. Various theories have been presented for why these objects are so difficult to capture on camera. One is that the shutter speed of these traditional cameras can't keep up with the speed of these objects. Another is that they have some type of field around them, while others suggest that our hands wobble too much during these encounters, which again blur the image. Anonymous also featured this story on one of their pages, asking their followers what they made of it. Due to how things are in the world right now, the group has seen substantial backing from people who share the same views as them, and this has led to many anonymous accounts opening up to share insights into what's happening around the world right now. Anyone can claim to be part of the group, and interestingly, some of their followers were interested in this story, and again mentioned that this isn't the first time that these objects have been seen above areas that's in the middle of a conflict. Just recently though, a soldier was talking to a camera, and in the background a strange looking object could be seen flying past. What's incredible is that the only way you could see this object was if the video speed was massively reduced, which led amateur researchers to suggest that this couldn't have been something like a plane or a bug. Oddly enough, more questions were raised when the shape of the object became visible. The object appeared to be in the shape of a perfect disc, and only appeared in 2 frames of the whole video. This sighting came just 1 week after scientists in Ukraine released their study. They revealed that after scanning the sky they had detected squadrons and fleets of mysterious aircrafts, saying that they're travelling at extreme speeds. Match anything else in the sky. It's said that at the moment they're everywhere.
Do you see that, like, you can, like, see the warp bubble? Crazy.
I know.
Like, get the perfect disc, and then you can, like, that's something that you can't copy right there. I don't know.
No, it's not.
Because by theory, this electromagnetic wave is so strong, it is bending time-space in front of it, so it can travel. And as it does so, it is bending it behind it, and gives it that weird capsule refraction weirdness.
Yeah.
The distortion of that
posted online,
magnitude
it led
would
some to believe
take
that this may
immense
have been one
power.
of these objects, and that it was captured by accident. The mysterious aircraft that has been seen throughout the area has been tracked using cameras that observe meteors, and the researchers said that many of these objects were hitting speeds exceeding tens of thousands of miles per hour. Another mystery when it comes to these types of objects is that they don't appear to make a sonic boom. This phenomenon
Some gates are better left unopened.
has been researched before. It's been said that a craft travelling at tens of thousands of miles per prowl would constantly be making sonic booms. But those who have looked into it have come to the conclusion that these objects are doing something to their mass, which allows them to travel at these speeds without making a sonic boom. One researcher used the example of light, saying that it can travel without making a sound.
Okay, my theory on why it doesn't make a noise falls in line with what you're saying. So they use a buildup of electricity, right? And when they discharge that buildup, what that buildup is doing is, instead of eating away at anything else, as it travels, there's a noise, and that noise comes off as a vibration. Well, what if that electricity rides that vibration and eats it so that you don't hear it?
So it's like a noise. It's a noise canceling effect as well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering that the distortion of time and space and everything in front of it displaces all the oxygen molecules too. That's what makes the sonic boom. You're cutting through the atmosphere. Now you're not. You're moving through the atmosphere unimpeded because you've moved everything out of the way, and it closes up right behind you. Magnetic wave. Silent.
Right, but we
still
would
something like that would take.
Oh, they already have that kind of man.
Yeah, like that would take a almost like a supernova to power.
No, it's electromagnetic. That's why things move like that.
I'm just saying, like the power alone to do that.
No, it doesn't take a lot actually. When you it's creating a variable transistor relay release. So you take you can take and stack like 30 transistors, right? And
but that's still a lot of electricity that you would build up to.
Right, but you would only be putting a little bit in, right? And then on the other end, those transistors create the buildup.
Yeah, they magnify it,
right?
To create
that's where they're getting the energy. You put a little bit in, get a lot of it out. That's what they're saying.
It's possible that the sound we're hearing could be, a release of that energy. It's just like electricity makes a crack in the atmosphere. But still, again, magnetic wave should be moving everything out of its way. It is literally creating a black hole that's warping it through like nonstop. It's really, I don't know. It's interesting. I wonder if we'll ever figure that out.
Space-time displacement field.
Yeah, that's what
we refer to it as
into these objects' physical properties that allows them to travel at these speeds without making a sound. Scientists behind their study released their findings. NASA commissioned a research team to study mysterious flying aircrafts, observations of events that cannot scientifically be identified as known natural phenomena.
I know how these
The main astronomical observatory of Ukraine conducts an independent study of these aircrafts also. For these observations we used 2 meteor stations installed in Kiev, and another one in the south region. Observations were performed with color video cameras in the daytime sky. We have developed a special observation technique for detecting and evaluating these mysterious aircraft's characteristics. According to our data, there are 2 types of these objects which we call cosmics and phantoms. We see them everywhere. We observe a significant number of objects whose nature is not clear. Flights of single group and squadrons of the ships were detected, moving at speeds from 3 to 15 degrees per second. Some bright objects exhibit regular brightness variability in the range of 10 to 20 Hz. 2 site observations of these mysterious aircrafts at a base of 120 kilometers, with 2 synchronized cameras allowed the detection of a variable object, which was at an altitude of 1,170 kilometers. It flashes for 1/100th of a second at an average of 20 Hz. So what do you make of this announcement, and what do you think this object is? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below.
and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.
All right.
That's crazy.
Yeah. My thought is, okay, so like you said, it's obviously looks like warp technology, but what it is, I believe it's a pigeon. That's my honest belief of what it is. I think it's a pigeon.
It looks pretty suspect.
It's
I mean, because
intriguing.
the things that go on the back of my mind when I'm like looking at it, I'm like, is there something that we can use to explain this?
Well,
I could totally get with that, or a fast bird, and it caught it right in mid-flat, and it looked good.
Oh no! What I'm saying is it's a carrier pigeon, man. It's a ball. It's got a message in it. It's a carrier pigeon.
Oh, I got you.
I think it got sent from the
a lot of
pigeon.
debug films in that too. If you get a good photo of a bird and it's the right distance, it's interesting, and someone can get a photo and be like, "Oh, this is what's only left of the video footage."
But it clearly could just be a new species that's emerged as well, because our technology is starting to become advanced enough to start grasping and looking at dimensions above our line of dimension, meaning there's things we can't see because they move faster than we can see.
Right.
There's things
If they
we
break
can't
it down
hear.
frame by frame, that could be true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's nothing that's gonna help us figure how to be that fast and them how to be slow enough to talk with us. So I think that's like a big dimensional barrier that might be there. Is they might be on a different plane of speed. What if speed is more relevant as time than time is of speed?
Well, that's the thing they've been working at. It's like the whole Ant-Man theory. The smaller it is, the longer. It's kind of okay. Attack on Titan. Like, something big is going to take a swipe at something. It's like really slow motion. It just depends on the size, the magnitude of your perspective at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't see these craft being so well. Some of them, and we've seen movies of magnificent sized craft. I don't think that applies to this. Like the size of these things, it doesn't matter. Like Mike's theory, or his theory being, you create it small, you can scale it up. Doesn't matter how big of a ship we make. We make that so much fast. It doesn't matter. It's endless, limitless.
Yeah.
It's the magnitude or the many generators it would take to create this, and it's just as fast as anything else.
It's a possibility. It's all something to think about. Look it up. Figure some stuff out. It was reported by Anonymous. So this is one of those things where it goes, well, Anonymous has been known to be on some bullshit. So
yeah, just to throw a curveball in the system.
Yeah, right.
Throw
So
people
I don't
off
know.
what they're really trying to do.
I haven't trusted Anonymous for a while.
Yeah, neither. Like they've done some questionable things over the last couple years.
Yeah, so I don't know.
As
I'm not
much
sure.
as I hate to admit.
Oh yeah, and I'm not saying anything should happen to them. I just don't know if I should trust everything Anonymous releases.
Right.
That is true.
So that's one thing to think about. Just like I don't trust Q at all. Just to be clear, like I haven't trusted Q in a while. So
yeah,
and those two kind of like fall along the same lines of things. For me, I definitely investigate a lot into what they release for information to make sure before I get too far off into believing it. So that's why I was like, I want to share this. Maybe we could all have some fun time with it and stuff. Yeah. we're gonna get out of here. Thank you everybody for stopping by, hanging out, and we will see you on Sunday for the next episode of the Late Night Load.